that I would have done differently. This is from Real Simple magazine. These questions aren't real simple. One thing that I would have done as a mom differently, probably would have waited to have children until I was like way older. And I probably, but no, I love you. I think what I would have done differently really is not be so overprotective and not be afraid of this world, not be afraid of, sinners or, people who didn't quite believe in Jesus, but they were still nice. But since they didn't believe in Jesus, they can, have a part of my life because of my kids. So that's definitely one thing I would have changed. Second question.
Okay, why did you choose to be with my father?
I mean, have you seen my husband? He's pretty hot. Have you seen your father? No, don't answer that question. He's pretty fly. But no, honestly, let me tell you why I chose to be with my husband, Nick. Um, we started dating, and I started to realize how really nice he was. And one day we were stuck at this. It wasn't a cabin, kind of this timeshare that our friends had. All of our friends. It was kind of like a spring break type of thing. We all went there, and we didn't have any food. So this brother put together a cracker lasagna that was off the hook. So that's why I ended up being with your father, because I realized through thick or thin, this brother would always be able to make some good food.
Okay, in what ways do you think I'm like you and not like you?
I mean, first of all, do you see this beauty? She obviously gets her looks from her father. So how she's like me, you are definitely creative. You're very creative. What else? You're like my younger daughter's like me because she's very strong. She knows what she wants, and she goes after it. Your creativity. I mean, this kid right here could build whole civilizations with cardboard. So don't sleep on her. Next question.
Okay, which one of us kids did you like the best? What kind of question is that?
I'm not gonna answer that. I like both my kids equally. No, really, I do.
Is there anything you have always wanted to tell me but never have?
Yes, so I'm gonna do it right now on Facebook Live. When you get married,
No, no.
when you get married, I better be, I don't know. Yeah, I better get the biggest slice of wedding cake. I don't know. I have nothing I'm gonna tell you online. What else?
Do you think it's easier or harder to be a mother now than when you were raising a family?
Well, I'm still raising a family, so I think it gets harder the older you get. Someone said to me when my kids were little, the older your kid, the bigger the problems, and it's so true. When they're little, they cry because they get a boo boo. They lost their rock. Now they're like, I lost my mind. I have no patience, boys. I don't know how I feel. So it does get more difficult as they get older because there's more at stake now, and they understand the world in different ways than they have before. Um, let's see. Ooh, hey Pedro, thanks for watching. We got another question here. Okay, we don't have another question here. What questions do you want to ask your mother this coming Mother's Day? Some of you are like, well, I don't know, I'm not that close to your mom. Well, this is a great time to get close to your mom. Okay, here we go.
Is there anything you regret not having asked your parents?
Yeah, I think I regretted asking them what kind of guy they thought I should have or I should be with. And now that I have kids, I can tell you right now that I understand to some extent the premise of marriages that are pre-assigned. Because as a parent, I can look at my children and go, oh, this character or this trait or this ability in a partner would benefit you and you'd be able to collaborate better. So having my mother's input or my brother's input, because he's basically the one who raised me as my father, would have been so good in terms of just saving me heartbreaks, because I was like dating this person, trying to figure out for myself, when really my mother probably already knew the answers to the type of guy that I would like. Next question.
What's the best thing I can do for you right now?
The best thing you can do for me, you can save all your money and help me not pay for college, or you can just cook dinner every day. Cook dinner every day. That's what you could do for me. Next question.
Is there anything that you wish you had been different between us or that you had still liked to change?
I think these questions are as if my kids are already grown and out the house, which obviously they are not. So I don't know. Skip, pass, next question.
When did you realize you were no longer a child?
So I don't know if I've come to that realization already. When did I realize I was no longer a child? I think the day I had my own kids, and the day the day I had my own kids, and I realized that my life wasn't about myself, that now I had to, everything I thought and did revolved around other people, and it was for their benefit and not my own. My mother said the day that I had Erica, my older one, it's not about you anymore, it's about the kids. And I was highly offended, but now having done this for more than a century, I realized that she was right. It's really not about me anymore, and that's okay with me because I live my life for them. Next question.
That was it.
Oh, that was it. Well, today in quarantine, because that's the name of the show, and that's what we're talking about. What are you doing in quarantine? Pedro Dominguez, I see you're still watching. If you have a question, there's a couple of you watching. What are you doing today? How have you structured your day? Um, I So I'm not gonna lie, I woke up a little late today. I woke up around 10. I know that's like stupid late, but it was for a good reason. Last night I stood up all night long like a fool watching Waco. Have y'all seen Waco on Netflix? That's some crazy stuff. So the narrative is pretty different from what I grew up believing, that it was a mass suicide. And the narrative in this show, it portrays the government as a government cover up. So in terms of, they just were going in strong and killing people, and a lot of kids died, a lot of women died. It was basically needless according to them, not because David Koresh wasn't not because he wasn't living right. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, if you've seen Waco, then you should go see it. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it. If you've seen it, talk about it, because it's a crazy show. But I think at the end of the day, what I came away with that is that David Koresh was extremely knowledgeable. He had memorized the New Testament by the time he was like 13 or 14, and then the Old Testament by the time he was 18. He had memorized the entire Bible. So this brother could break it down. But you know what? It's not about head knowledge. It's about being filled with the Spirit, because his head knowledge led him to a polygamous life, led him to having sexual activity with 12-year-olds, led him to basically leading these group of people to their own death. And so it's not about head knowledge. It's not about how many Bible verses you can remember. It's about how the Spirit works and lives in you and transforms your heart. And the freedom that you find in Jesus Christ through the scriptures, right? The scriptures, revelation, it's all a revelation of God the Father and Jesus his Son. And, it's just informing us about the power of the Holy Spirit. So that's what I did last night. That's why I woke up really late. What else did I do in quarantine? Well, let me tell you what I haven't been doing in quarantine, because I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of cooking. How many of you are sick and tired of cooking? I mean, maybe some of you are still driving over to Taco Bell, and, I wish I had that money, but, I have kids who eat like crazy people. But I'm tired of cooking. I don't know what to cook anymore. I mean, I've tried Tasty. I tried Delish. I've had people send me recipes, and I'm done. I don't want to eat food, right? This is how you know this is like Western people problems. Like, I don't know what to eat. There's just so much option. But this is where I am. I just don't know what to cook anymore and what to make. And I'll drink water all day long. But then, what happens at 7 o'clock at night? I'm a raging beast, and so I eat nothing but carbs, and then I gain weight. So I'm getting all this kind of voluptuous, not because I'm overeating, but because I'm not eating enough and not at the right times. So public announcement: eat right, have fruits and vegetables, don't be a punk. One of the other things that I've been doing during this time of quarantine is I've been reading some books, not physical, some physical books, but right now I'm reading this book on parenting, and I know y'all don't want to hear about it, but it's not necessarily parenting. It's about those who lead and work with children, and not so much about filling their cups, but how to deal with their emotional irregularities, when they can't control their emotions. And that's the scope of the life, y'all. If you cannot regulate your emotions, you will not have friendships. You will not be able to live a satisfied life, because your emotions will be like the wind, tossing you to and fro, and you won't be able to stabilize and, find purpose and find friendship and community. So learning to take control of your emotions is really important. So at this point in the show, your host, Renee, would be telling you some dad jokes. But you know what? I ain't got no dad jokes. It's just, I'm not about that life. But the one joke It's not a joke. It's an insight that I'm going to share later, but it's about my yard. Let me show you my yard, y'all. Okay. It's a good space, for being right here in the little town of Lincoln. It's not a town, it's a city. So one of the things, I come out here all the time, and there's always, first of all, why does Lincoln have 10 billion rabbits? There are rabbits everywhere, all of the time. And apparently there's a lot of coyotes. That makes sense. There's a lot of rabbits. There's also so many variety of birds out here. And today I was sitting out here just kind of sunbathing, and I looked up, and there was these two small birds with like white tails, and they were chasing after a pigeon looking bird, and he was way bigger than these birds, and they were just like, get out of here, we don't want you. If birds can talk and I can interpret them, that's what they would be saying. They're like, get out of here, we don't want you. And so the pigeon like bird just like flew away, and they were right behind him, and this like thought popped into my head. I'm like, I showed you all of these trees. I have so many trees out here. And I said, yo, these birds were acting as if there wasn't enough room for this one bird. And the Lord is like, there's always room for another bird, right? Sometimes other people who are bigger, maybe better, are more skilled, or skilled in different ways, they come into our life, into our space, into our sphere of influence, and we automatically look at them and go, oh man, they're gonna take from me. Their skills and ability are gonna overshadow me, and then we don't want them in our space. We try to not espionage. What is that word? I can't think of the word, but they're in our space, they're in our influence. We think that their abilities are going to outshine us, and somehow, the call that God has in your life is not going to be made evident to the people around you. Let me tell you, y'all, there's room for another bird in your space, because your space is not your space alone. You are there because the Lord has placed you there, but He's also placed this other individual there, and there's enough work, there's enough purpose, there's enough calling on behalf of God for 2 or 3 or 10 people or more to be in the same place, having a different kind of ministry to different people. And let me tell you, they're not taken away from you. So that's kind of what I learned today, just sitting out here in my garden chronicles. What are y'all learning today? Did you learn anything? Are you talking more to the rabbits? Do you talk to the birds? Because my husband tells me I've been doing a lot more talking to animals and inanimate objects as my cell phone that I'm currently talking into. Oh, look, Renee says that she has a joke. The one joke. So I know most of you know the story of today, but for those who don't know, I'll retell it. On this day in 1912, the Titanic sank tragically. While there was a terrible loss in people's lives, there was an even greater loss in the ship's cargo hold, especially from Mexico. Many people don't realize this, but almost all of the country's choice stock of mayonnaise was being shipped over to the Americas when the iceberg hit it. Mexico was devastated, and today will forever be known to the Mexican people as Cinco de Mayo. Oh my gosh, Renee, what is this? Stop it! Cinco de Mayo. No, this is not right. You need to stop, Renee. That was so bad, but hilarious all at the same time. Andrew Reed, oh boy, I concur with that statement. I literally did. Did you see my eyes roll? They went all the way like 360 from top to bottom, all the way around. But yeah, today is Cinco de Mayo, and I don't really celebrate Cinco de Mayo. When the kids were little, we used to make like piñatas. I don't drink beer. I eat tacos all of the time. It's not really a memorable day. Even in Mexico, in Puebla, they don't even celebrate this day. This is really just an American holiday that we made up so that we can participate in all the glory that is Mexican culture. So I'm not going to hate it. Go out today, have a quesadilla, have an enchilada, make a taquito, make un pico de gallo, whatever works for you. Get some Mexican street corn from Costco. Go to Pepe's Kitchen if they still have anything left to be sold. Go to, what is that? My favorite restaurant here in Lincoln. What is it? I can't even think about it. Oh, Mi Tierra, right past Old Cheney by Genesis Health Club. Yo, that is the best Mexican food. But then there's that Mexican restaurant over by Michael's and Trader Joe's. They got the best aguas frescas. So anyway, if you want to celebrate Cinco de Mayo or Cinco de Mayo, you can go on ahead. No one's going to hate on you. Just don't drink and drive unless it's in horchata or tamarindo or agua de melon, something like that. But have a great day, everybody. This is it for today in quarantine. I hope that maybe tomorrow I'll have more jokes. Maybe Renee will come out with another really extremely corny dad joke, but that's the point of the dad joke, right? It's supposed to be corny. It's supposed to make you roll your eyes all the way to the back of yesterday. Thanks, Renee, for that. She is dying because of this joke, so I'm glad that you made yourself laugh, Renee. All right, guys, signing off for today. Blessings to you. Catch you on the flip.